You know that feeling when you scroll through endless espresso machine listings, see a sleek photo of a stainless steel body, read a few glowing headlines, and then the machine you finally order arrives and feels underwhelming? It happens a lot because manufacturers love to photograph their gear at perfect angles, but the reality of a daily homebrew routine can be very different. If you're on the fence about dropping a serious chunk of cash on a prosumer espresso machine, you're probably worried about buying something that looks impressive on paper but leaves you with mediocre shots, constant fiddling, or a countertop that just doesn't fit your kitchen flow. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's dig into the Rancilio Silvia Pro X in pink and see whether it lives up to the hype, or whether it's another pretty face you'll regret. First off, the Silvia Pro X isn't the entry-level plug-and-play machine you might get from a big-box retailer. It's positioned as a step up from the classic Silvia, targeting people who have already tasted the difference between a decent home espresso and a calf-grade pull and want more control without diving into a full commercial rig. That means you'll be dealing with a dual boiler layout, PID temperature control, and a programmable attune feature that lets you set a wake-up time. If you're the type who likes to schedule a morning routine, set the machine to fire up at 6 a.m., have the boiler at temperature, and walk to the kitchen for a shot that's ready to go, this is a genuine convenience. But if you prefer a single boiler, on-demand approach, the extra hardware adds cost and a bit more complexity. One of the first practical strengths I noticed is the way the dual boiler separates brewing temperature from steam temperature. In real life, that means you can pull a shot at 93 C while the steam wand is already at the right pressure for milk frothing, without the temperature swing you get on single boiler models. I tried making a classic cappuccino for a friend who's a latte art enthusiast, and the milk steamed consistently while the shot stayed stable. The result was a velvety microfoam and a shot that retained its sweetness, something that often trips up machines where the steam phase drags the brew temperature down. The PID controller is another area where the Pro X shows its value. It lets you dial in the exact brew temperature and holds it within a tight range. In practice, this translates to repeatable shots day after day, as long as you keep the machine cleaned and the PID calibrated. I experimented with a 1 minute and 2.2 seconds brew ratio for a ristretto, then moved to a 1 minute and 2.8 seconds ratio for a longer pour-over style espresso. The machine responded predictably each time, which is a big win for anyone who likes to tweak variables rather than stick to a single recipe. However, the strengths come with some hidden trade-offs. The machine's footprint is larger than the original Silvia, largely because of the second boiler and the larger water reservoir needed to keep both tanks full. In a modest kitchen, you'll need to allocate at least a foot of counter space, and the pink finish, while eye-catching, is a finish that can show fingerprints and water spots more readily than matte black or stainless. If your countertop is already crowded or you prefer a more understated aesthetic, that's something to weigh. Another practical consideration is the learning curve. The Silvia Pro X gives you a shot timer, soft pre-infusion, and a premium stainless portafilter, all of which are fantastic tools for dialing an espresso, but they also require you to understand the process. When I first turned it on, I spent about 15 minutes just getting the brew pressure dialed correctly and learning how the soft pre-infusion feature slowly builds pressure before the full pump kick. If you're a casual weekend brewer who just wants a quick shot without fiddling with PID numbers and pre-infusion times, you might find the experience more tedious than rewarding. Speaking of the portafilter, the upgraded stainless version is solid and feels heavier than the standard aluminum models, giving you a tactile sense of stability during tamping. The extra weight helps keep the basket level, which reduces channeling and improves extraction consistency. In my own use, that meant I could pull a double shot with less variation between the first and last cup of the day, even after the machine had been running for a few hours. For anyone who takes their grind and douse seriously, that's a tangible benefit. Now, who should actually buy this machine? If you already own a basic espresso maker and have hit the ceiling of what you can extract, or if you've been using a semi-automatic and want to start treating temperature and pressure as adjustable variables, the Silvia Pro X is a logical upgrade. It's also a good fit for small-scale entrepreneurs who need a reliable machine for a boutique coffee cart or a home office that serves clients. The dual boiler means you can keep the machine running all morning, serve multiple drinks without waiting for the boiler to recover, and still maintain shot.